Hello, here to show you the Cars Color by Cactus is Color by Cactus coloring here. As you see right here, you got the say Doc, and then along with Lightning McQueen, and then along with a few other art colorings, and of course try to get through it with a small amount of time. But you have it is basically is a cactus. As you can also look at as a cactus starting from one two different sides of of the desert. But right here is that I went ahead and added in some detail about so far as the desert look that you have it right here. Is you got a different blend of colors. As you got red, and then along with orange and brown and green and stuff. It's like the typical colors that you would see on the rainbow. But you got right here, you got Doc right here, and then along with Lightning McQueen. And so far as learning, it's like so far as the racing, which if if all of us here have seen the movie. But and then along with the Piston Cup. But basically what I'm talking about right here is that basically about that with the different colors that you'll be working with is, of course, I'll be getting to that here in a minute. But it's almost like working like we say is the different variety of nutritional meals, such as you see related to the food group, such as the bread and then the milk, and along with the meat group and stuff, and along with the different vitamins. Is that if we all hear is like we're familiar with Tylenol, maybe children's Tylenol, or any type of Tylenol, or it could be vitamins such as vitamin C and A or whatever. But basically is that it's like that so far as the pharmacy type study. But basically it's like the work with colors is kind of like we say kind of like the variety of what vitamin and what food product you use, because it's like more likely the from whenever I went to school, I remember that the colors I mainly memorized was like red, blue, and brown, and green, and then you got the burnt orange, the burnt orange. I guess that's how it's pronounced. Is like you get that box of crayons right here. It's like you get it's like we say 64 colors. Was that right there is what I used to color a little bit of that detail in for the skies. Like we got that cactus right there. And then along with the green, and then you got the green, and along with the yellow, and then that the Indigo, and then along with the with the I think Timberwolf, and then along with the Arcchild, and the Arcchild is how you pronounce it. But you got these different days, about 64 colors. You got all these different colors right here, and pretty much it's like the orange, and then like light orange, and maple orange, or however you want to pronounce it. All these colors right here basically is that these would probably do something different, but then the blue and the blue right here they do about a little bit about the same, and a little bit different too. Because what I did on this picture right here, of course, is that I went ahead and colored this in with a little bit of orange. It's like you got it had a little bit of mixture of yellow to it, kind of like it had like a lighter color to it, and then I added a little bit darker, shade to it, just to kind of give it that real, say that three-dimensional, whatever you want to call it, that look that you made it look a little bit more realistic, say so far as artistic. But the way I think about it is that so far as when I learned, which I took art class, about 2 years of it, and would you say is that most of my artistic skills I pretty much learned on my own, because I remember whenever I was about 8 years old that I remember starting from a blank sheet of paper, and I think working with a couple of pencils, and then maybe a couple of crayons also. But mainly it was the way I drew this was, of course, I drew it from a picture. Is that I pictured it in my mind and then drew it on paper. And basically the way I drew it is that, of course, it's like you got the mountains, you got the cliffs right here for the desert scene, and then of course, let's say follow the pattern. Is to say if I would be looking at this box right here, is that the line, the line, and then just say is that with the line, if you were to picture the box right here, it's like kind of like if I could put a shape right here. It's like you kind of like a square. If you could shape a square in your mind, and then maybe add a little bit of color detail to it, is that about you got that outer line right there, and then just add a little bit of detail from there. It's like with the color, and then after that, and then you take that, it's like you get the darker marker, and then go ahead and add a little bit of color onto that. Got the desert scene right there. And basically, then the way I did the desert scene was working with these two different colors. You get the dock right here, add a little bit of yellow right here for the desert scene. But you got right here is you add a little bit of detail of yellow and green. And basically, so far about rainbows, more likely that you won't see any of those out there in the Sahara Desert. But it seems like nowadays, with things that you see on the computer and maybe on TV nowadays, that basically it's like it's anything that you could see, such as a rainbow out in the desert or whatever you call it, then more likely you may see that. But more likely that I don't think you would see a rainbow out in the desert. But of course, for Color by Cactus is what I'm talking about, is talking about working with different colors. And of course, it's like it's like to see if you want to add a starfish, or say maybe a colored camel, or you say if we're going to be using like a Cars character, we can maybe put Mater in there, and but I went ahead and included Lightning McQueen. You got that part where he's about to dangle off the cliff right there, and then along with the piston cup. But most of us have seen the movie before, is like you're familiar with the speed diameter, is you have it to where how many, but the whole round is like it's just an empty cup, but you have it to where if you were to go around the track a couple of times, the number of counts wherever you caught, it's like it give you the number by miles. And I would probably say Lightning McQueen had probably gone, I would probably say at least 58.3 miles. I would probably say if you were to practice around the racetrack maybe at least 8 times, about 58.3 miles. At the racetrack was measured at about 400 feet, something like that. I don't know, 400 feet. That you say estimate of 400 feet, a long racetrack right there. It's like campaigning for the piston cup, and then you got the speed diameter with say so far as the highest speed goes from 10 to 170 mile an hour. But more likely with race cars probably go approximately more faster than that. But basically it's the subjects right here. Is you got the math, language arts, and then you got like recess, and then along with history, science, and story and art. But of course, my favorite subject was basically art, because in fact like the color, but not too much recess, and then not too much math and science, and a little bit of stories too, and then along with the specials and geometry, whatever subjects that there were. But basically is that the whole study about, which I'm sure a lot of people here would probably say that they liked math, and then they hated it, they always hated it, whatever it is. But I guess you could say that math is one of the good studies, so far as counting about vitamins, and then along with the food groups, and then along with the miles, as so far as so far as the mile counts and stuff like that, and then the color counts so far as for Color Cactus. And you have it to where you got the green right here, and then of course it's like you're trying to work with it, the green, and then the red, and then along with the pink, and then along with the brown. Is that, as we all know, that more likely you would find it's like I did some research about this. You say it's archaeology or science. You add a little bit of detail right here for the rocks. Also, I'm sure you'll be able to find some interesting rocks out there in the desert. You got the rock details right here. You say if you could add just a little bit, a mixture of colors right here. It's like pretty much do what you want. It's like that I don't know if art is really about profession, about how it's done. Is that to explore what you can do so far as giving it different color looks and stuff. You got the red right there, you got the rock details right there, and then after that, and then it goes to the orange. You add just a little bit of orange on top of that, and then after that And then